Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a general collective reading, so there are no signs attached to it. Only take it if it resonates for you within the first couple of minutes. Otherwise, just go find a different video to watch. So we're gonna get started. There are a couple things that I was just getting intuitively. So the first one was this crystal. It's called a Kambaba jasper. So I'll just read a little bit about sorry, I just got an email that distracted me. Kambaba jasper, the meaning of it or the energy of it. So it's a very energizing stone that activates our root and heart chakras. It helps provide much needed healing to the heart and calming of negative emotions such as guilt, trauma, grief, jealousy, anger, and sadness. This crystal helps one achieve emotional balance throughout the day and helps keep one's cool during times of distress. Kambaba jasper acts as a teacher and life coach, helping you get through some of the toughest emotional experiences you've had to deal with. This stone pushes us to release the weight pushing down on our chest, right back into the atmosphere. Show the universe that you will not tolerate being stuck in emotional disarray anymore. Kambaba jasper's powers are strong enough to finally put you back in the driver's seat of your life. Simple things such as socializing, working with colleagues, and even forming long-lasting relationships will feel natural and easier than ever before. This special combination of minerals helps one feel comfortable with themselves and their surroundings. So I feel like this crystal wanted to be part of the reading today. If there is something that you've been struggling with, especially in terms of like the heart chakra and the root, so that's green and red energies, it could have to do with like feeling grounded or even like having like a sense of belonging or community or family, that kind of energy. If there has been any areas of your life where that perhaps hasn't, like that's been an area of lack or something that you feel like you've been missing, it's like this stone is coming in to sort of like help with that. So it is a very grounding energy. So it's bringing in sort of energies from like spiritual into the physical, like grounding spiritual energies. I feel like that's sort of the main theme, especially the bottom of the deck energy you have here is the King of Pentacles. I was also seeing actually two King of Pentacles energies, like two of them. If I had another deck that I was using, there were two King of Pentacles energies. And between them, there was a devil card, and behind the devil, there was a rainbow. So I feel like maybe if there is sort of like a partnership between two King of Pentacles energies, like two people or two whatever energies that are like extremely, extremely stable, that like, and very prosperous on their own, like have, are in sort of control of their physical environment in some way, or like very good with their resources or whatever it is. Like I was getting sort of like the energy of like, because those two people are both like really powerful or strong or whatever in the physical reality, that like bringing those two energies together can be sort of like challenging, just because there would be change required, right? And so what I was seeing is that the devil between the two is kind of like some sort of like pattern or whatever was not serving the connection perhaps actually has gone through some sort of transition, or like with the rainbow sort of representing the hardest part is over, or like the like it's kind of like a new covenant is what's coming through, or like a new like hope for whatever it is that is happening here. So that's the overall energy. But I'm seeing here that there's kind of like so I feel like there is sort of like the hardest part is over, and it's kind of like you have here the spark, portal for the spark. Something new is being sparked. Some sort of new, I don't know, adventure, some sort of new inspiration, some sort of new beginning is sort of being sparked within this perhaps connection. And you also have here the Gnosis card. The Gnosis card, which is talking about like inner knowing, right? Like depending on intuition as well. It is coming through very strongly in this. It's like an experience that has to be felt. So it's talking about like knowing something because you feel it. That's sort of what's coming through here. So there may be something here about like having a very strong intuition about something, especially in terms of, because underneath that you have the medallion, which talks about like a long-term legacy kind of thing. It sometimes talks about like inheriting something, especially in terms of like a legacy kind of thing, whatever that is. And underneath that is the agape. I'm just going to stop there. Sometimes I go too overboard and like pulling it from the bottom of the deck, which is the unconditional love. This also talks to me about alignment as well, like aligning to love. So that's the overall energy, which is really fabulous. But we're going to start off here in the reading, the village. The village, which talks to me about so again, your roots are really important here. There's sort of like this energy of grounding. So that's what this village is representing, like a where you're from, like your hometown, like, or your, whatever it is that this village represents to you, whatever energy this is. But it is ultimately a place that we have outgrown, or that it's time to move forward in order to grow. So there may be that kind of energy, especially with the King of Pentacles, right? It's like if you've established yourself in a place where you have roots, right? It can be very difficult to make a change or something like that, because it requires having to move or having to or like go somewhere or whatever, right? So that's the first card, and it's coming out with these cards. So the whips, which just talks about like any sort of like repetitive action. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It could be just talking about like your routines or anything that's like a repetitive thing that you do. Like it could be just like a daily routine that you have, or just like your regular schedule, or something that's very dependable as well, especially with the King of Pentacles. So I feel like there is some aspect of that that's changing, because okay, there's so much energy coming through here. I also just like, because today's February 29th, right? It's the leap day. So it is sort of like this there's kind of like this energy of, I don't know how this relates to what I'm saying right now, but it's kind of like but it's not just the day. I feel like it's an energy that's almost like a yearly kind of energy. Like this is going to be something that's more long term, is how it's coming through. And sort of like an energy of like, it's an opportunity to catch up on lost time, is how this is feeling. Because the leap year is like how, just like astrologically, if we want to talk about it that way, like, in terms of the actual year, how the earth spins, it's not exactly perfect, right? So it's like 365 days, 0.25 is the actual year. And so this day, today, the 29th, is sort of a catch-up day to sort of collect all the rounded 0.25 and put it all together, which is why it happens every 4 years. Anyways, I don't know why that's going through. I feel like that might be significant to someone, like, this energy of quarters has been coming in so much recently, or like 3 out of the 4, right? Like quarters, seasons, stability, because that represents 4 as well. Anyways, it's coming out with whips. I feel like there's some aspect of your stability that is changing here, in order to allow for growth, right? It kind of feels like here, so this Mother of Swords is coming out first. This card is really interesting. I was kind of seeing somebody who had gone through like a loss of a partnership in the past. So this is like a past energy. They lost some sort of partnership. So I don't know if that's talking about you or like someone in your environment in some way. Someone who lost a partner. I don't know in what way that is. It wasn't giving me specifics on that because it's a past energy, right? It's a past energy. It's not something that happened recently, I don't feel. But because of that loss, right? Like somebody who stands very independent or alone, I feel like that's part of the stability that's changing, right? Like this sort of like perhaps a repetitive pattern in terms of that. Because what's underneath that, which I love so much, is this Bear card, which talks about an awakening and like winter is over. It's that kind of thing. Like spring, there are signs of spring. It's time to move out of this sort of hibernation or this energy of the village. Like some aspect of stability that you have outgrown. And then what comes out after that is the eternal child, which I love so much. So this talks to me about like the healed inner child, right? Like things that bring you joy. What it is that, like, what is it that you want to create? It's also kind of bringing in this energy of like doing something that somebody told you was not possible. I feel like there's something here about like perhaps somebody told you that something wasn't possible, and it's kind of like you're wanting to challenge that idea or whatever it is. It's kind of because with the cards that are coming out underneath that are these cards, the Snake and the Daughter of Cups. The Snake talks about the description for this card was talking about the guardian of untapped potential. There's absolutely some sort of untapped potential that you are now accessing here with the spark. Some sort of untapped potential that's calling you is kind of how it's feeling. With the Daughter of Pentacles, or sorry, not the Daughter of Pentacles, the Daughter of Cups here, it's talking about like something creative or artistic or like some sort of form of expression that I feel like has been untapped by you in some way. The eternal child, it's like some sort of like creation perhaps or path, because it is coming through with this the choices card. Oh my gosh, there's an abundance of choices. Because that's the thing about the spark. There's so many different ways that this can be expressed. It's kind of like, and this card talks about like, if you don't know which way it is or which path it is or like what to do, it's kind of like just trying whatever path. Some paths will be dead ends, of course. But it's kind of like if you do reach a dead end, you just turn around and go a different direction. So it's kind of bringing in this energy. There's also something here about like a doubling because you're going from the 11 to the 22, which are both master numbers as well. So it's kind of like there's something here about like your growth is doubling because you were perhaps in a very stable place. I'm saying you, but I really mean we, like as a collective, the universal you, where it's like there's something here about like doubling it, perhaps in terms of like releasing some sort of repetitive thing that you were doing, whatever that is that we were doing. It frees up more energy and more choices now, because now that some sort of routine or structure is being removed or you're leaving it, it frees up more choices or more opportunities in order to find this untapped potential, right? What's interesting here, though, I feel like it's going to be whatever this new opportunity is, I feel like it's going to be leading you somewhere, perhaps physically, right? And it could be into, especially with the Kambaba Jasper, I feel, and the root chakra being activated, it feels like a very physical change or movement or that kind of thing. It may be actually leading you somewhere, like you may be getting intuitive clues to follow is kind of how I'm seeing it. Like it is coming through very much with like a Wizard of Oz kind of energy, like following the yellow brick road down to like the Emerald City, that kind of thing, where it's like you're following the brick road to some sort of destination. So what's interesting about that, though, because I was reading, I haven't watched the Wizard of Oz movie since I was a kid, so I don't really remember that much about it, but I was just reading very briefly about the Emerald City, because that was what I was seeing as well, and what that sort of represented. And there is sort of an energy there, whatever the Emerald City is, that is cast an illusion in some way. So there's some sort of like, whatever it is that you're going to, the destination has some sort of illusion about it. But it's like you're coming out here with the mystic and the sun, which is like the sun is right in the middle of your spread today, which is just talking about like your light, right? Like all of this sort of like joy and happiness and positivity and optimism and a new opportunity as well. But I feel like because it's coming out with the mystic, this is talking about, from this deck specifically, the mystic talks about going into a place of darkness in order to transform it or to shine some sort of light on it. So it's kind of like you're being led somewhere to the Emerald City, a place where there's illusion present or quote unquote darkness, and having to sit in that because it kind of feels like there's some sort of like transmutational work that you might be doing there, perhaps on behalf of a collective, or something like that. Because here you have here the Three of Cups, which I feel like this is sort of representing that destination, wherever it is that you're going. The Three of Cups, which is a very positive card. So it could have to do with sort of like fun or celebration or like the promise of that. Especially if it's bringing like this energy of like somebody going from the country to the city. It has like sort of this allure of fun or enjoyment or play or like that kind of thing, that kind of energy, excitement maybe. But what's underneath this is the Hanged Man, which is so interesting. The Hanged Man has been coming up so much in the recent readings. It is Pisces season, but I feel like it's also talking about sort of like, because the Hanged Man talks about like getting a new perspective on something, but from this deck it specifically talks about like being stuck, that there may be sort of like like while you're in this energy of stuckness, there's something here to learn. Because it could be that you're going into a place that is quote unquote unclear, or there's illusions about it, but there is something for you to learn or something for you to experience here with the sun, like some sort of learning or new opportunity, or like an opportunity for you to learn something about this untapped potential. Okay. Anyways, so I don't know. There's absolutely something here for you to learn. I feel like at the beginning, when you first enter this city, whatever that is, it's kind of like there may be like discomfort about it, right? Because it's kind of like having to, because I was seeing this as sort of like the wings open versus closed. There's kind of that energy about it. Like, I feel like this is you right now, but where you're going, it's like you have to have your wings closed in some way for a time, I want to say, just to sort of like learn what it is that you need to learn there. Okay, so next up, we have really interesting combination of cards. So you have here the Mother, which is, so the way that it's coming out on the table, so you have here the Eternal Child, the Mystic, and the Mother. So it's kind of like, I feel like you're the Eternal Child. You're tapping into some aspect of untapped potential that perhaps is becoming made aware to you in some way, and stepping into some sort of new experience or following some sort of like intuitive trail is how it's coming through, or like following some sort of clues towards a destination. And I feel like whatever's in the destination, there's an energy that's represented by the Mother, right? Like somebody, especially with the child, right? There's somebody there who is perhaps going to be a nurturing sort of energy. It may also have to do with your mother in some way, or like mothering relationships, whatever that is. Anybody sort of like a feminine energy who had a significant influence on you. But I feel like whoever this new person is, or this new relationship, might be, the way it was shown to me was that like they were similar to a mothering relationship in your past, but made different choices or did something different than your own mother did in some way, right? So they're different, absolutely, obviously. They're doing something, they've done something different. They've made different choices in their life than perhaps this person that you know, right? Which is interesting, and I feel like there's going to be some sort of healing that comes from that, actually. It's like, because this person has made different choices than your mother in some way, it's like that it changes the dynamic of the relationship is actually kind of how it's coming through, especially with the cards coming out underneath are kind of difficult. You have here the Scythe card and the Five of Swords. So the Scythe card in this one, so this of course represents sort of like a reaper energy of like death, transition, that kind of thing, or just like it could even also represent sort of like a harvesting, or like the way that it's described in this deck is a distancing energy, where it's kind of, so if there has been sort of like any sort of difficult feminine energy relationships, it's like distancing yourself from those relationships is how it was coming through. But then underneath that you have here the Star, which is talking about like hope and healing. So I feel like there's something here about like in the Emerald City, metaphorically, whatever that represents to you, you're going to meet someone who reminds you of somebody from your past, a nurturing energy from your past, but that has made different choices than that person. And if there has been wounding in that original relationship, those are going to be healed, is what I'm seeing here with the Star. Or there's like new hope or something like that, because it feels like it's really focused on some sort of like inner child healing that happens through a relationship that is similar but different than whatever caused the wound. So it's that kind of energy, especially with that description that I read about the Kambaba Jasper and with the Mother of Swords, right? Like this energy is talking about like if you have experienced wounding or pain or loss or suffering in some way, we can become closed off to new opportunities and things like that. And so this stone is sort of coming in as being sort of like encouraging you to step out of a comfort zone or step out of this energy, which can be closed off or isolated or not wanting to be part of a group or a community. Because you do have here the Three of Cups right in the middle underneath the sun. It is talking about like friends or community or a group or belonging or whatever that is. And finally, the last set of cards here, you have here the Kiss, which is so beautiful. It does feel like healing today, but it's also like becoming like two energies becoming one, where I feel like, again, with at the very beginning, the King of Pentacles energy, where there was like two energies that I feel like were very maybe strong-headed, but that kind of feels like too strong of a word, but like extremely stable on one's own, where it's like that there was difficulty in perhaps working together because of that, and it's kind of like this is now coming together now because the proper whatever. It's especially with the Five of Swords, this talks about like separation. Actually, it feels kind of like this Five of Swords is difficult in every deck, I think, but this one is particularly difficult, which talks about like separation or like a very clear wounding or hurt that was caused. That it's a loss situation, a loss on both sides, but nobody won in this case. But anyway, so you have here the Kiss, which is just like a coming together, right? It's really beautiful. And the Garden, which I love, again, to come out because it's another doubling energy, the 10 to the 20. So you have 11 to 22 and then 10 to the 20. And of course, for me personally, the Garden represents so much. In this deck, it talks about like community, being part of a group, like having like a party, that kind of thing, like so much abundance and growth as well. It sustains you, that it's like it's talking to me about like a community of some sort that is very long-term and prosperous and provides nourishment in whatever form that is. I love this card so much. I feel like it's also going to be whatever this new opportunity is, because it does feel like an opportunity. It gives you an opportunity to use your particular gifts in a certain way. Like, I feel like you'll be giving to this situation in your particular skill of whatever that is, because I feel, well, perhaps whatever the untapped potential was, it's like there's some sort of untapped potential that you have to give, or like some sort of gift or ability or skill that perhaps was not accessed before, but it's like in healing this, it gives you, like, you become somebody who can use that gift to help others or something like that. And because the last couple of cards here, you have the Father of Wands, which I'm seeing as being sort of like a complete opposite to this card. So this is where we started with the reading, the Mother of Swords, right? Feminine swords energy, feminine air energy into masculine fire energy, which is totally different. And because the overall context was the spark, it's kind of like the end point of this journey, however long this lasts for you, is becoming masterful at whatever this spark was. So I have no idea how long this is going to last. Perhaps you're going to see it in terms of like unfolding over the next year. It could even be unfolding over the next 4 years because we are at a leap year kind of energy. Maybe in 4 years' time, you'll see sort of like how much you have grown. And I'm not saying that to put like any sort of pressure or timing or anything like that. I don't feel like it's going to be like that. It's just kind of like you're following the intuitive clues, right? It's like something that unfolds over time, but is very, I want to say fun in some way, right? Like it's fun. It's playful. It's kind of like when a child is playing, they don't think about the end point. They don't think about like what happens when we finish playing. It's just like you just keep playing and things will like shift naturally is kind of how it's coming through. But anyways, the last card underneath the Father of Wands is the Phoenix, which I love so much. This card, it has so much meaning. But so again, the root chakra is really important. I feel like it's going to have very long-term effects on your stability and home and belonging, whatever that is to you. This card also talks about like freedom from past karma and suffering through a specific technique of like using fire to purify. Because there's something, and the fire today is representing sort of like the spark, whatever the spark is. There's some sort of like process of, or like the sun even, some sort of like creative new project or adventure or something that requires action on your part. So I feel like there's some sort of like freedom from suffering or freedom from past karma or like whatever it is. Like purifying that through fire in a very controlled way. It's not destructive at all. This is a creational fire. This is a very creational fire. I'm not seeing any sort of destructive energy, but except for this, right? The Five of Swords, which I feel like is sort of like something where maybe there was sort of like a self-destructive habit that was caused from like past wounding, right? Like because of whatever this energy was, like an energy of distancing yourself or isolating yourself that ended up being destructive to you in some way. Because it is kind of coming through as like a shift from isolation into community or belonging in whatever area of your life that is. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that was helpful. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can find a link to a form in the description box below. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.